G'day guys, now I love keeping chickens. This little lady here is Rapunzel, as you can tell by her nice flowing blonde hair, or blonde feathers. And I love keeping chickens. They are awesome to have in the backyard. They take care of so many scraps from the kitchen and they recycle them into eggs for you, which is awesome. And I've been keeping them. These guys I probably have for about 5 years now, and they just grow awesomely. They are very cool little chickens, very calm, very friendly most of the time very friendly. But there are some annoying things that they do. They make a hell of a lot of mess, and I've come up with some very cool ways that you can actually make it a hell of a lot easier to look after them and keep them going quite well and keep them going quite happily without doing much at all. So take for the watering, for example. I have not changed the water in here for probably, I haven't even looked at it for a couple months, and I haven't done anything to it for the last couple of years, which is freaking awesome. I haven't had to top it up, clean it out, or do anything like that. The food, I put a big bag of food in there, and that's good for the next 3 months. So all I've really got to do for these guys is top up the food and clean out the crap that they got at the bottom of the cage, and that is about it. So I thought I might take you guys along. I'll let this little lady back into a cage and show you what I do to keep them going really happy and really easily. Now this is their cage that I'm in at the... So these are my little chickens, and this is my feeder, which it seems quite simple because it really is. What I have here is a 60-litre drum, and it's a sort that you can buy from Bunnings ridiculously cheaply. This bin probably cost me about $15, $20, and inside of it you can keep so much grain and so much feed for these ladies, which makes it really easily. But if you've ever had chickens before, and yes, you guys are really very guilty of this, they will flick crap everywhere. As you can see, they still do it a little bit, but not to any extent that you'd get in any other sort of feeder. Now, what I've got here is a pipe, and it's a little elbow pipe. I'm going a little bit closer. It's a little elbow pipe that just lets a very small amount of food go around the bottom and cover up where they can get at it. So they can stick their heads in there, they can get to the feed, but they can't get their legs in there, and they can't do anything else. Which is awesome for these guys, since they are painful as all hell, and they will flick crap into everything. So this whole thing cost me maybe under $30 with the pipe and everything inside of it, and it makes it so much easier to do anything with the chickens, just to top it up and make it so much easier. And then I get those little eggs out of there, which I've got to take out shortly. Now with my cage, normally I'd like to have the wire mesh at the top a little bit lower, but this guy here, I'm paranoid that he'll want to eat the chickens. Now, this one over here is the second bit of tech that I want to show you. Now this bin, I'm actually going to give credit to Rob Bob. I got the idea for this off him. So I'm not going to take full credit for it, but it just works fantastically. Now the second one here is something that, an idea that I stole off commercial chicken breeders, because this is one of the things they use, and I've just adapted it to my backyard so it'll work fantastically and easily. So I'll take you through that. Okay, so I'll show you guys what I have done a little bit better. As you can see underneath, these are the little nipple feeders. The chickens come along, they'll flick it, and water will drip out. And it is really that easy. So I've got several down here, so if something does happen to one or two of them, there's still plenty there that are ready to go. And I'll pull this up again. So what I have inside of it is, zoom out a little bit, is one of these ones. So this is a little float valve that's hooked up to water that's always on. So when the water level drops down a little bit by the float valve, it'll automatically top it up, and it'll be ready to go. Now what I have here is the nipple feeders, and you'll notice that they're not directly at the bottom of the tub, as you can see there. So when I flick them, they're going, and the sediment that builds up at the bottom won't clog them up, which is something that's quite important and something that's quite easy to fix. So they are off the side, and it's pretty much just held on with pipes and solids, and this just all goes under the ground. They're quite happy with it, and it all works just ridiculously easily. And if you'll have a look at the pipe that I've got going up to the top of the cage, you'll see that there is one last tricky thing that I do to help them not overheat during stupid hot summers. So this here is the last tricky thing that I have actually done up on this cage, and it is actually a lifesaver, literally. In Adelaide we get super hot summers that just get too hot for the chickens, and if I didn't have something like this, then you discover that they would die relatively quickly. Now what I've got here is a little misting cage. So a little mister that goes on some of the houses that you see at pubs and that sort of stuff to keep it cool, and hooked up to that is this little lot of gizmos here, which is a little Arduino relay and temperature probe. So inside of here, my very nice little cage, inside of here I have something that's always hooked up and always working. So I do have a video on this that explains it, but basically there is a temperature probe, as you can see down here. Nice little temperature probe. It checks the temperature. If it's too hot, then it clicks on the relays until the temperature has gone down, which allows the water to go in and spray them and mist them until it is nice and cool in there. Now, I'm about to discover how much of that you could actually hear with them brawking away behind me, because they are noisy as all hell. So I hope that you can make it out, and I hope that I'll be able to edit this properly without me having to do a voiceover. But we'll find out shortly. So this is the first video of mine, and make sure you subscribe and like and share the video around if you think it's going to help anybody else. So thanks guys, and I'll see you next time.